Morning, children. Today we are going to read a new lesson named A Gift of Chapels. Gift of Chapels. Okay, before you read, Mridu is a young girl growing up in Madras, now called Chennai, with Tapi, her grandmother, and Atha, her grandfather. One afternoon, Tapi takes her to her aunt Rukumani's house to meet her cousin Lali, Ravi, and Meena. A gift of chapels. Let's know. A smiling Rukumani threw open the door. Ravi and Meena rushed out, and Ravi pulled Mritu into the house. Wait, let me take off my slippers, protested Mritu. She set them out neatly near a pair of large black ones. Those were grey actually, with dust. You could see the clear mark of every toe on the front part of each slipper. The marks for the two big toes were long and scrawny. Long and scrawny. Scrawny means thin, suggested skinny toes. Vidhu didn't have much time to wonder about whose slippers they were because Ravi dragged her to the backyard behind a thick bitter berry bush. There, inside a torn football, lined with sacking and filled with sand, lay a very small kitten, lapping up milk from a coconut half shell. We found him outside the gate this morning. He was meowing and meowing poor things, said Meena. It is a secret, Amma says. Pati will live for our Paddu Mama's house, if she knows we have a cat. Pati, grandmother in Tamil. People are always telling us to be kind to animals, but when we are, they scream, "Ooh, don't bring that dirty creature here," said Ravi. Do you know how hard it is just to get a little milk from the kitchen? Pati saw me with a glass in my hand just now. I told her I am very hungry. I want to drink it. But the way she looked at me, I had to drink most of it to throw her off the scent. To throw her off the scent, mislead her so that she won't understand the real purpose. Then she wanted the tumbler back. Pati, Pati, I will wash it myself. Why should I put you to trouble? I told her. I had to run and pour the milk into this coconut shell and then run back and wash the tumbler and put it back before she got really suspicious. Now we have to think of someone other way to feed Mahendran. To feed Mahendran. Mahendran? This little kitty's name is Mahendran. Mridu was impressed. It was a real name, not just a cute kitty cat name. Actually, his full name is Mahendra Varma Pallava Punai, Yampi Punai for short, if you like. He is a fine breed of cat. Just look at his fur, like a lion's mane. And you know what the emblem of the ancient Pallava king was, don't you? He looked expectantly at Mridu. Mridu giggled. Then I am joking. Well, just wait. I will show you sometime. It is clear you don't know a thing about history. Haven't been to Mahabalipuram, have you? He said mysteriously. Well, when our class went to Mahabalipuram, I saw a statue of his Tathas, 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 etc., etc. Fact is Mahendran, Tatha grandfather in Tamil, etc., etc. Fact is Mahendran here is descended from that very same ancient cat of none other than the lion, the Pallava lion, emblem of the Pallava dynasty. Ravi went on, walking around the bitter berry bush, waving a twig up and down, his eyes sparkling. This cat is a descendant of none other than the Mahabalipuram Rishi cat, and if I may just remind you, they worshipped cats in ancient Egypt. How he loved the sound of his own voice. Dina and Bridu exchanged looks. What does that have to do with anything? Bidu demanded. Oh, I am telling you, this cat is descended from the Egyptian cat god. No, goddess. Castate. Yeah, that's it. So, well, one of the descendants of that cat goddess was Stowaway in one of the Pallava ships, and his descendants was the Mahabalipuram Rishi cat, who descendant is, whose descendant is. Ravi flourished his twig at Mahendran. Yampi Punnai here. Whoop, pick, whoop, pick. Stowaway, someone who hides himself or herself in a ship or an aircraft to travel unnoticed. MP Ponnai here, who is striked, very pleased with himself. Mahendran looked up, alarmed. He had just been sharpening his claws on the edge of the coconut shell. But worse than Ravi's awful whoop pick was a screech from the window. What a weird sound! If Mridu was startled, Yampi Ponnai was frightened out of his wits. Hair standing on end, he bounced up and scurried towards a bamboo tray of red chilies that had been set out to dry. Trying to hide beneath it, he tipped a few chilies over himself. Meow, meow, he howled miserably. The creaking went on and on. What's that noise? Said Mridu. That is Lali, learning to play the violin, grunted Ravi. She will never learn a thing. A music master just goes on playing, like a train whizzing on and on, while Lali is all the time derailing, going completely off track. Let's know the part two. Redu crept up to the window. Lali was sitting a little distance away awkwardly, holding her violin. Holding her violin. Holding her violin and boasting her elbows, jutting out and her eyes glazed with concentration. In front of her, with most of his back to the window, was the bony figure of the music master. He had a mostly bald head with a fringe of white black hair falling around his ears and an old-fashioned tuft. A gold chain A gold chain gleamed around his leathery neck, and a diamond ring glittered on his hand as it glided up and down the stem of the violin. A large foot stuck out from beneath his gold bordered breasty edge, and he was beating time on the floor with a scrawny big toe. He played a few notes. Lali stumbled behind him on her violin, which looked quite helpless and unhappy in her hands. What a difference! The music master's notes seemed to float up and settle perfectly into the invisible tracks of the melody. It was like the wheels of a train fitting smoothly into the rails and whizzing along, as Ravi said. Bidu stared at that huge grilled hand moving effortlessly up the violin's stem, making lovely music. Squat! There was Lali grailing again. Amma came away from the gate. Amma, oh Amma. Ravi sent that beggar away, cried his mother from the back veranda. There she was chatting. There she was chatting with Papi. He has been coming here every day for the past week, and it's time he found another house to beg from. Pati explained to Papi. Bidu and Meena followed Ravi out. The beggar was already in the garden, making himself quite at home. He had spread his upper cloth under the neem tree and was leaning against its trunk, apparently prepared to take a little snooze. While he waited for the arms to appear, "Go away," said Ravi sternly. "My Pati says it's time you found another house to beg from." The beggar opened his eyes very wide and gazed at each of the children, one by one. "The ladies of this house," he said at last in a voice choked with feelings, "are very kind souls. I have kept my body and soul together on their generosity for a whole week. I cannot believe, I cannot believe that they would turn me away." He raised his voice, "Amma, Amma, oh Amma." Sad his wail might be, but it rumbled somewhere in his withered belly and came booming out of his mouth with its few remaining teeth stained brown with beetle chili. "Ravi, tell him there is nothing left in the kitchen," called Rukumani, "and he is not to come again. Tell him that." She sounded fed up. Ravi didn't have to repeat it all to the beggar. What his mother said had been easy for them all to hear. There under the neem tree, the beggar sat up and sighed. I will go," he said wearily. "Only let me have a rest here under this tree. The sun is so hot. The tar has melted on the road. My feet are already blistered." He stretched out his feet to show a large pink healing blisters on the soles of his bare feet. "I suppose he doesn't have the money to buy chappals," Bidu whispered to Nina. "Ravi, have you got an old pail in the house somewhere?" "I don't know," said Ravi. "Mine are too small to fit his feet, or I would have given them to him." And his feet were larger than Bidu's and Nina's. The beggar was shaking out his upper cloak and tightening his lower. He raised his eyes and looked fearfully at the road, gleaming in the afternoon heat. "He needs something on his feet," Nina said, her big eyes filling. "It's not fair." "Shh," said Ravi. "I am thinking about it." Blubbering, "It's not fair. It's not fair is not going to help. In 2 minutes, he will be frying his feet on that road. What he needs is a pair of chappals. So where do we get them? Come, let's search the house." He pushed Mridu and Hina into the house. Just as he stepped into the veranda, Mridu's eyes fell on the odd-looking chappals she had noticed when she arrived. "Ravi," she whispered to him, "whose are those?" Ravi turned and glanced at the shabby-looking but sturdy old slippers. He beamed and nodded. "They are just the right size," he said, picking them up. Ritu and Meena followed him nervously back into the garden. "Here," said Ravi to the beggar, dropping the slippers in front of the old man. "Wear these and don't come back." The beggar stared at the slippers hurriedly, flung his towel over his shoulder, pushed his feet into them, and left muttering a blessing to the children. In a minute, he had vanished around the corner of the street. The music master came out of the house and took an unappreciative look at the three of them, sitting quietly under the tree, playing marbles. Then he searched for his chappals in the veranda where he had put them. "Lali," he called after a few moments. She hurried up to him. "Have you seen my chappals? Have you seen my chappals?" "So have you seen my chappals, my dear? I remember having kept them here." Ravi, Vridu and Meena silently watched Lali and the music master search every corner of the veranda. He scurried around, looking over the railing and crouching near the flower pots to look between them. "Brand new they were. I went all the way to Mount Road to buy them." He went on saying, "They cost a whole month's fees, do you know?" Soon Lali went in to tell her mother, Rukmani. Rukumani appeared, looking harassed, with Pati following her. Where could they be? It is really quite upsetting to think someone might have stolen them. So many vendors came to the door. Worried Pati, Ruku, Mani caught sight of Ravi, Mridu, and Meena sitting under the tree. Have you children? She began, and then seeing they were curiously white, went on more slowly. Seen anyone lurking around the veranda? A sharp V-shaped line had formed between her eyebrows. Another straight tighter one appeared in place of her usually soft, decent mouth. Rukumani was angry, thought Mridu with a shiver. She wouldn't be so upset if she knew about the poor beggar with sores on his feet. She tried to tell herself. Taking a deep breath, she cried, Rukumani, there was a beggar here. Poor thing, he had such boils on his feet. So said Rukumani grimly, turning to Ravi, you gave the music master's chappals to that old beggar who turns up here. Children, these days, I groaned Pati. Amma, didn't you tell me about Karna who gave away everything he had, even his gold earrings? He was so kind and generous. Silly snapped Rukumani. Karna didn't give away other people's things, he only gave away his own. But my chappals wouldn't have fitted a beggar's feet. Ravi rushed brashly on. And Amma, if they did fit, would you really not have minded? Ravi, said Rukumani, very angry now. Go inside this minute. She hurried indoors and brought out Gopu Mama's hardly worn new chappals. These should fit you. Sir, please put these on. I am so sorry. My son has been very naughty. The music master's eyes lit up. He put them on, trying not to look too happy. Well, I suppose this will have to do. These days, children have no respect for elders. What to do? A Hanuman incarnate, only Rama can save such a naughty fellow. Rukumani's eyes flashed. She didn't seem to like Ravi being called a monkey, even a holy monkey. She stood stiff and straight by the front door. It was clear she wanted him to leave quickly. When he had clattered off in his new chappals, she said, Mridu, come in. Mridu, come in and have some tiffin. Honestly, how do you children think of such things? Thank God your Gopu Mama doesn't wear his chappals to work. As he walked towards the kitchen with Mridu and Meena, he suddenly began to laugh. But he is always in such a hurry to throw off his shoes and socks and get into his chappals as soon as he comes home. What is your mama going to say this evening when I tell him I gave his chappals to the music master? Written by Vasant Surya from Bridu in the Madras. Guru Chakra turns UP. Guru Chakra turns UP. This is all about the lesson, that is gift of chappals. Do you know? Let's know about Jama's impact. Do you know? No. What is that? What this tall bird does on sensing danger from far is to lie flat on the ground with its long neck, almost horizontal. The enemy may not spot the ostrich in this position from a distance, and it may be mistaken for a shrub or bush. If the danger is close by, the ostrich will take off and run. Though ostriches cannot fly, they can run as fast as 65 km per hour. If cornered, they give a swift, hard kick. An ostrich burying its head in sand to escape attention is a metaphor for people who ignore rather than face a problem. This is all about the amazing fact. Then we come to the poem The Riddle. Now let's know what is the riddle. What is rebel? Do you know? anyone who always disagreeing with you or your friends, or likes to do the opposite of what everyone thinks they should do. Think of a word to describe such a person. Discuss with your partner some of these things such a person generally does. Now read the poem. When everybody has a short hair, the rebel lets his hair grow long. When everybody has a long hair, the rebel cuts his hair short. When everybody talks during the lesson, the rebel doesn't say a word. When nobody talks during the lesson, the rebel creates a disturbances. When everybody wears a uniform, the rebel dresses in a fantastic clothes. When everybody wears fantastic clothes, the rebel dresses soberly. In the company of dog lovers, the rebel expresses a preference for cats. In the company of cat lovers, the rebel puts in a good word for dogs. When everybody is praising the sun, the rebel remarks on the need for rain. When everybody is greeting the rain, the rebel regrets the absence of the sun. When everybody goes to the meeting, the rebel stays at home and reads a book. When everybody stays at home and reads a book, the rebel goes to the meeting. When everybody says yes please, the rebel says no thank you. When everybody says no thank you, the rebel says yes please. It is very good that we have rebels. You may not find it very good to be one. By Dr. D. Z. Enright. Tutor tooted. Tutor tooted. A tutor who tooted a flute tried to tutor two tutors to toot. Said the toot to the tutor, is it harder to toot or to tutor to tutor to toot? This is all about tutor tooted. Okay. And about the rebel poem. So I hope you might have enjoyed by this tutor tooted, and we'll see you in the next class. See you then.